You're watching Mirror 7 News. Stay informed, stay ahead for more news.
What happened in Las Vegas was nothing short of historic. Terrence "Bud" Crawford stepped into the ring against Saul Canelo Alvarez in one of the most anticipated boxing events of recent years, and he walked away as a three-time undisputed champion. The fight drew more than 70,000 fans into Allegiant Stadium, with millions more watching from home, marking it as one of boxing's biggest spectacles in the modern era. Crawford had moved up 2 full weight classes to challenge Canelo, a man long considered the face of boxing. Many thought the size, strength, and experience of Alvarez at super middleweight would be too much. But Crawford's brilliance wasn't about brute force. It was about control, composure, and craft. His footwork created the openings, his counters landed with precision, and his ring IQ carried him through every round. Judges had no trouble awarding him a unanimous decision, a verdict that made history. Canelo, already one of the sport's biggest box office draws, was still guaranteed a massive payday. Reports suggested his purse sat somewhere between $100 million and $150 million, with UFC CEO Dana White even hinting before fight night that Alvarez would not be leaving with less than 9 figures. Crawford, by contrast, reportedly accepted just $10 million. But in his own words, this was never about the money, it was about legacy. That legacy now includes becoming the first man ever to be undisputed in 3 separate weight divisions. The spectacle itself was grand. The entrances, the lights, the celebrities ringside, all fed into the atmosphere. Dana White, once a fierce critic of boxing's drawn-out traditions, found himself front and center as part of the promotional machine. He even placed the championship belt around Crawford's waist after the fight, a symbolic moment showing how boxing and MMA's worlds had intersected. Inside the ring, though, it was all Crawford. He didn't just survive against Canelo, he dictated the pace. By the 5th round, momentum had shifted. In the 6th, Crawford began taking full control, tagging Canelo with crisp combinations and never letting him recover. What could have been a dangerous power fight was instead turned into a masterclass of timing and technique. The contrast between the fighters extended beyond the ring. Canelo may have earned the money, but Crawford earned the moment. He doesn't command headlines with fiery press conferences, nor does he build fights with trash talk. Instead, he lets his gloves tell the story, and last night's story was one that may echo for generations. In the end, fans didn't just witness another big fight, they witnessed history. A new chapter in boxing was written, and Terrence "Bud" Crawford's name was stamped firmly into it as one of the greatest of his era. Crawford shocks Canelo to become 3-time undisputed champion. In Las Vegas, history was made when Terrence "Bud" Crawford stepped into the ring against Saul Canelo Alvarez. The fight was billed as one of the biggest boxing spectacles in recent memory, and it absolutely lived up to the hype. 70,000 fans packed Allegiant Stadium, and millions more tuned in worldwide to watch 2 of the sport's biggest stars collide. When it was all said and done, Crawford's hand was raised in victory by unanimous decision, and he became the first fighter in history to be an undisputed champion in 3 different weight classes. This wasn't just a win. It was a masterclass. Crawford, at 37 years old, moved up 2 divisions to challenge boxing's long-standing centerpiece, and he showed every ounce of why he's considered one of the greatest technicians of this era. His footwork was sharp, his hand speed dazzling, and his counters landed with precision. The angles he created, the way he managed distance, and his unshakable composure in the spotlight was a performance that left no doubt. The fight itself had its turning point in the middle rounds. Canelo, known for his power and aggression, tried to impose his will, but Crawford adjusted beautifully. By the 5th, the tide was shifting. By the 6th, Crawford was in control, peppering Canelo with combinations that reminded everyone of his destruction of Errol Spence a couple of years earlier. The brilliance wasn't in one knockout punch, but in the accumulation of skillful touches, the brushstrokes of a fighter painting a masterpiece. Financially, this event was enormous. Reports suggested Canelo walked away with well over $100 million, cementing his status as one of the sport's biggest box office draws. Crawford, on the other hand, revealed he took the fight for just $10 million, saying, "I'm doing it for the opportunity, baby. The legacy outweighs the money." That statement rang true as he stood in the ring afterward, a living embodiment of sacrifice paying off. What added to the spectacle was the presence of UFC CEO Dana White, who found himself ringside in a world he once claimed to run away from. For years, White criticized boxing's theatrics and drawn-out traditions, yet on this night, he watched it unfold firsthand. Even more striking, he was the one who fastened the championship belt around Crawford's waist, a symbolic gesture that suggested boxing had pulled him into its orbit, whether he liked it or not. The event wasn't just about Crawford dethroning Canelo. It was about the sport itself reclaiming its grandeur. With Netflix broadcasting the fight free of pay-per-view walls, fans felt as if they were witnessing a new era. Pageantry, spectacle, legacy. This fight had it all. In the end, the truth was undeniable. Terence Crawford is that rare fighter who doesn't need to talk to prove his greatness. His fists do the speaking, and in Las Vegas, they spoke loud and clear. A legend was solidified. A new chapter was written, and boxing reminded the world why, at its very best, it still reigns in a league of its own. Stay subscribed for more videos.